Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 36 of Reptiles and Cocktails. First of all, let me apologize for the lighting. I'm traveling, but our guest is sparkling, so he'll be here any moment now, and it's all about him and not me anyway. So, welcome everyone in the chat. Hey, Maki. Hey, Clown Scientist. Gage, what's up? Hey, Nene. Hey, Betty. Betty, I haven't seen you in so long, not being in the group. Welcome, love. Glad to have you here. Hey, Elias. One more week to Silly Girl. Um, let's see. Happy Saturday. She's not into. Yeah, finally entering your father. You a mess. Can't wait to meet you in Tinley. Elias, give me the you can hear me check. Let me know you can hear me okay. So Claudius is actually logging on. He was traveling to a photo shoot, so we delayed the time because we definitely want to get the opportunity to see him in action. Hey, Dom. Hey, Dom, girl. Okay, I feel you, Betty. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we're just gonna give him some time to log in. Nene, I am lovely. Right now I'm in San Diego for the Bigger Pockets conference. Um, So I'm here meeting up with a few of my Aussie, well, Aussie is actually here, and a few of my Patreon family members of Aussie. So we're here talking that money stuff, y'all. Getting that passive rich income. So we'll be here for a few days for the conference. I'm so excited to finally have Claudius. Elias, you funny. I actually wanted Claudius on a long time ago, but then it's like he got so busy, and then my bookings became just so packed for a few months, and so then um, we reached out back and forth a couple of times, and finally we made this first. This can you this Dom. I know, Dom. I know. I can't because there's no outlet. If there's no outlet there, just like yep, I can tell it's very dark. Um, babe, is it an outlet over there? I was, but it's not a good view on a camera. Not for me anyway. It would be fine for him. No, I was just saying like over here. It is over here. It's an outlet. Oh, so hold on, Dom. I'm gonna try over here. Let me see. Bear with me, y'all. I'm moving. I'm in motion. Okay, let's see if this is better. Yeah, this might be better, Dom. Over here. I gotta go grab the other stuff though. Let me see. Y'all gonna be flat for a minute. Mm, it was a little better. I think when I had it sitting up here, so I'm gonna set it up like this real fast to get it better. How's everybody day going? I was doing flight today. The one thing I hate flying. I like going places, but I hate flying. So it's always a task for me to get it together to fly. So I can see. Sit where the sun is in your face. Let's see. All right, Elias, that might be better. Let me see if I can plug it up over here, though. I don't think. I don't think it's going to reach. It might reach this one over here. Yeah, that might be the thing. It's not going to reach. I don't have a Hmm. No, they work, but the lighting is bad on that side, and there's no way outside that it had one. All right, so I might have to switch back because the outlet I need is on the other side. Let me see if I move over this way. Let's try this. Huh? Um, is it somewhere for me to sit though? Sit this? You think? Is it somewhere for me to sit this? Okay. We might have a solution. Let me see. Bear with me. No, it's here it's perfect, but I can't reach the outlet. And I need a charge. I definitely need a charge. All right, let's try this. See if that reaches in there. And I'm gonna need to grab all of that. Okay, let's see if that's better. It's still a little darker over here, but it's better than, huh? Yeah, but it's the outlet is more important. So can you just bring that stuff for me, babe, please? This is gonna have to work, y'all. I know y'all used to me and my little pretty lights, but I'm not home. Oh yeah, Dom, I hate flying. But it's the only way to get to all the places I like to go. But it's torture for me. All right, let me try this. All right. All right. All right. So that's better for me. I just feel sideways, but that's okay. All right. Let me see. All right. So we're just waiting for Claudius to log on where he is. Make sure you guys share this out. I know this is not our normal time, but you do special things for special people, right? I waited a long time for this interview. Um, so some of you guys already received your swag, Dom. I saw that you received yours. Um, the initial swag packets went out to all the usual suspects, except for the ones who are 2XLs, because the 2XLs, there's a delay on theirs, but everybody else should have received theirs. Some of y'all might be delayed because of the hurricane you just experienced, but I think most of y'all have it. Hey Dre, most of y'all have it. So, and then there's some other people I have, but I'm just going to bring it with me to Tinley when we come to Tinley. But I'm going to also share the link next week where you can purchase merch if you want, if you want. So I'll be sharing that for others. But most people should have received theirs. If not, you'll receive it the beginning of next week, or you'll definitely receive it in Tinley. So for those of you who are just joining, we're just waiting for Claudius. He's actually doing a photo shoot today, so he's trying to get into the Wi-Fi, and then he'll be on. We delayed the podcast because I wanted to make sure, number one, that we did the podcast, because I don't miss a Reptiles and Cocktails regardless, even in flight, even when the flight is delayed. We're going to make sure it happens on a Saturday, so that kind of worked out today. And then when we had the opportunity to experience a photo shoot with him, I thought that would be pretty cool, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Let's see who else joined. Dominique, are you coming to Tinley? I wasn't sure. Yep, so Claudius is actually joining in now. We'll bring him in once he's all the way in. Should be shortly. There he goes, and we're gonna bring him in. Y'all ready? Hey, how are you?
Quite all right in yourself.
I am
Let me
great.
get this picture.
Finally. Yeah, we're both on the move today. I'm glad you. Thank you for dealing with
Right.
all of my interruptions and shenanigans and plain stuff. I appreciate it.
Ah,
But I know that
of
myself
course.
and a lot of people waited for this moment to have you on. So, everybody, welcome. For those of you who don't know who Claudius is, let me just say the best way for me to explain is that he loves retakes like I do. So, y'all know that this is going to be a great conversation. But I think, Claudius, you was the first person that made me realize that there was really a business in reptile photography on a whole nother level.
Right.
And I would love for you to explain, like, how did that come about specifically in the celebrity world?
Probably the next. Right.
Yep. So in the celebrity
That's a pretty
realm,
good
how did
description.
that happen? Okay.
Pardon?
So how did you start to get the jobs with because you've done interviews, you've done a lot of, I mean, first of all, Kalani is my girl. So I know that you've done work with her. How does those things come
Right.
about? Is it just because of where you're located in California?
Well, that helps. That definitely helps. But
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
that since I was already working in the entertainment industry prior to me
Ah,
doing things with reptiles in that world, it was kind of
okay.
like things going hand in hand. So me
So what did you
having
do?
a passion for animals. Well, I was working in the music video industry. I was working as a production assistant originally,
Got it. Got it. Got
and
it.
like that's just kind of like gives you your foot in the door essentially. So I
Right.
was on set with any of a number of celebrities that you can think of, working to make sure that they come out with
Hey,
a
Journey.
great video essentially. Like I working camera department, grip department, art department, anything that you can think of, just to make sure that that final, that finished product that you see, that video that you end up seeing on YouTube or
Mm-hmm.
wherever, is like the best thing that you could.
Oh, think we lost him. Like I said, guys, it's going to be a little tough one because he is in a remote location, but we're going to be
We having
patient
a
with
little
that.
trouble here.
Yep, I got you. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead.
But what I was saying is that essentially how I got started with having reptiles in entertainment was by chance. So the first time that I ever brought snakes on set with me was for a major production. In fact, it was for
Okay.
Tyga's music video "Floss in the Bank" a handful of years ago,
Okay.
and I was already working with a couple of the people who were in production. They were looking for an exotic animal to have for that music video. And, why not offer what I have? They thought snakes would be a
Right.
great idea. Um, at that point in time, I did not have uh, a number of snakes that I have currently. So I ended up having to, ask a friend of mine to come and bring a couple of his, and like
Okay.
we, and all in all, we ended up bringing about 19 snakes on set with us to make that video happen. And like that was my first real experience as far as like tying in the reptiles with the entertainment industry. And from there, it just kind of took off. Like I've been working on anything you can think of, whether it be photo shoots, music videos, working with YouTubers, educational seminars, all kinds of things. And it's always something different. Somebody has a different idea to how they want to do a twist on their interaction with the reptiles.
I'm laughing at X-Ray's comment. He said, now when people say I'm weird because black people don't like snakes, I can show that I'm not the only one. The funniest thing, X-Ray, is that there's a whole world of us, right? A whole lot of us. Way more than I think that people can even imagine that it is. So you are definitely not the only one. Welcome.
Right.
We're your people. So your favorite
Everyone's welcome
animal.
here, right?
Yes, everyone. Exactly. What would be your favorite animal to keep?
Currently my green anaconda. He's probably my favorite.
You said an anaconda, really? So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I have all the big snakes. You know that, right? But that's the one I
yeah.
refuse
Yeah.
to get.
You got the
Is the
retics
anaconda.
just like me.
I refuse the anaconda. What is it that you love about
Why?
it?
Well,
Um.
I love the fact that he counters the stigma. So he's not your typical anaconda that's going to be nippy. He
Okay.
doesn't necessarily act a certain way where you would think, okay, I got to really be extra cautious with him. Like he's basically puppy dog tame. And
Okay.
he's about 2.5 going on 3 years old. He'll be 3 in December. So he's going on 3 years old now. I love the fact that he's a semi-aquatic species of snake. It's not every day that you see, a snake submerge themselves completely in water and just stay there. And when I
Right.
feed him, he prefers to eat when he's in his pool. So it's actually really cool to see that type of thing.
Now, how big is he? Because I don't think I've ever seen you with. I've always seen you with the retics and
Um,
berms. I've never seen you
yeah.
with the
So
anaconda.
I'll have to bring him out more often and show him off more on my Instagram. But he's
Okay.
approximately 8 feet long now.
Okay.
So he's got a
Okay.
little bit of size to him. He's definitely not an adult yet, but we're getting there.
Okay.
And like thickness wise,
So,
he's probably around as like a Gatorade bottle.
what would you say is the major difference between the two? I mean, far as persona, not necessarily how keeping. We know that the anaconda is way more, although retics like water too, but loves the anaconda loves it way more than a retic does. But what is the major
Right.
difference that you think between the three big snakes? Let's say the retic, the berm, and the anaconda. What is the major difference with the anaconda from the other two,
Okay.
in your
I would
opinion?
say that in my opinion, a berm is kind of like a giant ball python. Like
Hmm.
it's basically, the most chill one that you're gonna have of the three. The reticulated python is definitely going to be more interactive, more active, and more curious. They're going to be arboreal, they're going to be terrestrial, they're going to be semi-aquatic,
Yeah.
they're going to be all over the place. And
Yep.
they tend to be a lot more from the way that they act, it seems like they think more, like they're more intelligent in how they troubleshoot. And then with the
Okay.
anaconda, I feel like he is just kind of like a sit and wait. He's very, very sedentary, but then at the same time, he can have that active level to him as well. So when I'm handling my anaconda, he is more like the retics than the berms, in my experience.
Got it. Got it. So, when you're doing the photo shoots, you're using the retics and the berms the most. Have you ever used the anaconda for photo shoots?
Well, I've actually never used berms for photo shoots. I only use retics, boas, balls,
Okay.
and I have had a special request for the anaconda, but that he only
Okay.
comes out for special occasions. Like a different a different type of shoot that he would go out for. So I don't usually
Okay.
use him for like the standard photo shoots, like the one that I'm actually on set for today. So further on in this interview, I'll be able to
Okay.
give you kind of a tour around where we are,
Yes.
and you get to
Yes.
see
And we
some
can't
behind the
wait.
scenes shoot.
All right. So with the you said that you never use the berm. Is it a reason, or it's just that you just never use them because they're not that
Personally,
active?
I've just never, I've just never been a fan of Burmese pythons. I don't keep any in my collection personally. I've
Okay.
always seen them as like derp snakes. Like it's just a species that I was never drawn towards.
Got you. Got you. So it's funny. Before I got the retics, I got the berm first, and I said to myself when I got the first retic, definitely it's retics all the way from here on and normal berms. I got
Yeah,
the second berm because it was a normal. I needed to have a normal. I wanted a normal, but out of the retics are just my life, and everybody in this chat knows this. Like
oh
they
yeah.
roam my house. They run the house. That's what they do. They get to do
Hmm.
what they want to do. They get great exercise. They, like you said, they are very arboreal, and I think that's the
Yeah,
part I was telling Dre that frustrates me about how you keep them. Like we were talking about the enclosures. I get, we all keep them in, some type of enclosure, but letting them come out like you
right.
do, like, right? You take your
Hmm.
retics almost everywhere. I mean, they get nature and
See,
everything.
speaking of, We got a baby retic right here. So I'll go ahead and
In the
pull
bed.
her out.
Yes. Hey, Hudson Tails.
So this little girl right here is Butter. She is a
And
platinum
Sun Tiger.
tiger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So she is 3 different genes here. And I mean, I'm sure you can see why I named her Butter. She literally looks like butter.
And how old is she? Because y'all saw, she's a baby. You heard him
She's
say
about a
she's
year
a
and a half.
baby.
Yeah, baby.
It is so funny. I don't think retics ever have a baby stage. They come out like 3 feet long and then just in a year, 10 feet.
They
It's
definitely come out
crazy.
big. Right.
But
I hope
that
there's
one
not
is beautiful.
too much background noise here. I can close the door.
No, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
That is beautiful. I love the platinum gene. I really, really do. In certain
Mm-hmm.
combos. But I'm a real big fan of the Sunfires and the Sun Tigers. So when you combine it with anything, for
Okay.
me,
Okay.
it's beautiful.
All right.
It's so beautiful. So engagement. You got engaged last year. Did you set a date?
Yes, I got engaged in March.
In March. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Congrats again.
Thank you.
Now, your
Hold
fiance,
on, let me
is
hold on
she
one second.
okay? At work, I am great. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You said
Is
my
she
fiance
into the
what?
reptiles? Is your fiance into the reptiles as well?
Um, she is now. She wasn't originally. She's definitely a dog person.
Okay.
So well, I should say we. I can't say she anymore. We have 6 dogs,
We.
all small dogs. So we've got a
Okay.
corgi, a Yorkie, a Frenchie, a Maltese, and then 2 terrier mixes.
And the
And
terrier
the
mixes are the
reptile
worst,
wise,
aren't they?
actually, the Frenchie is the worst right now. She's only about
Really?
7 months old. She's completely nocturnal, like 3 in the morning. She's like running around circles in the house and doing all kinds of nonsense. So it'll be interesting to see if she mellows out as she ages. But as far as
Okay.
reptiles are concerned, the ones that my fiance are most interested in are the chameleon. So this
Really?
here is Bart, and this is one of my fiance's chameleons that she has now.
That is pretty though. They
So
now
she's
they
more
don't
into the
live
lizards.
that
She's
long
not
though,
as
right?
into the snakes. She has a couple that she considers. Right, right. I mean, the
Those
chameleons they usually live maybe 5 or
5
6
years?
years, unless
Yeah.
it's
See, that's why I didn't get
a
one.
Parsons.
Okay. That's why I won't get one because like what I love about reptiles is they live a long time. Like the turtles, you got to wheel them to somebody. You know, most of your reptiles, if you keep them in good condition, they're going to live 20 plus years.
Right. Some of
Um,
them will outlive
that
you.
short lifespan, yeah, right. They'll outlive you. You got to wheel some of them. 5 years is a short lifespan with any animal. Like I'm struggling
Right.
with right now with my Rottweiler. They tell me my Rottweiler, chances are he won't live past 12 years, right? He's very healthy today, but he's 8 years
Hmm.
old. So now that I'm getting into that double digit mark, I get very nervous. Like every
Hmm.
day is like it's getting closer to that point where he may not be with us anymore. And
Right.
I can't, I don't do well with that. Animals supposed to live forever.
That's understandable. I mean, that's part of the family, so I understand completely.
Yes. Yes. Now you actually had a situation or several situations where I think maybe people reported you for taking your animals out.
To an extent, yes.
Okay. Okay. But in California, where you are, do you need any, is there any permits required to take your animals out?
Oh, wait, did we oh, here we go. Now we're back. Perfect. So I had an issue in my old apartment actually. So my neighbors did not like the fact that I had reptiles, and it wasn't that they were
Okay.
illegal or they were getting out or anything like that. They just didn't like them. So I got reported to animal control and to the like the apartment manager and the apartment owner and all that. The owner, he had no issues with my animals. He actually came by the apartment to see them, and he was handling them, taking pictures. He had a great time. The apartment manager didn't want to have anything to do with them. And then, when animal control came, they came and saw. I'm like, okay, well, this is not what we're used to seeing. I mean, at that point, I had probably 24 snakes, and they were all in my living room.
Right.
And they checked to see what species I had. They checked to make sure that everything was healthy. Checked to make sure that nothing in my apartment was illegal. Like I didn't have any vipers or cobras or anything like that. But the neighbors ended up petitioning and complaining enough to where the like apartment management company asked that they requested that I remove the animals from the property. So that was a whole fiasco. Long story short, I ended up just moving them over to my fiance's house, which is where I live now.
Right.
So
Because
everything's
that's what's
fine
going to
in
happen.
the
Right.
house. I mean, that's just the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah. I can't. My animals gotta go. I gotta go too. That is for sure.
Exactly.
So in the business with the animals. So right now, you're at a photo shoot,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
your role
So right now
today
I'm at
is
an
what?
event called Cameras and Models. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Your role is to bring the animals, make sure they don't harm
Yes,
anybody.
that's correct.
Now, do you have any part in, like, say if it's a model, do you stage the animals at all, or does someone else do that
Yes.
part? Okay.
Yes. So I give creative direction. I will assist the models and the photographers as well when it comes to making sure that we get the shot that they want. I am very hands-on when it comes to these shoots.
Okay. And is that, I think
But
specifically, because like for me, I think with retics too, one of the things that I find with them is that especially if they're used to you as the owner, they're not the same animal. Not that they're a bite or anything like that, but they're not as calm when you're not around. Like, have you ever had that situation where maybe you're not around and they get a little nervous, or you just stay around so they don't get nervous?
um, I'll say this: the snakes that I allow out of my sight with other people, I would trust with anybody, and they don't get nervous in that type of situation. So, like this
Got
girl
you.
here, Butter, I could leave her with a model or a photographer or anybody, and I know how
Hey,
she's going
Cynthia.
to interact with them because she's just as calm with them as she is with me.
Right. So,
And I mean, the snakes that I bring out for photo shoots, I never bring
mhm,
anything out that I wouldn't trust with someone who is very uncomfortable. So, like, if there's someone who's never handled a snake before and they might be shaky, they could potentially drop it or anything like that, I don't want them handling an animal that could potentially feel uneasy being in that situation. So, all the snakes that I bring out are completely, what I like to say is desensitized to that type of interaction. So if someone's
got it.
like, "Oh my God, I don't know," shape moving around, moving erratically or anything like that, the snake is still going to remain calm in that situation.
Got it. Got it. Again, guys, like I said, just bear with us because we in a remote location. I'm actually
We
going to
could potentially.
see. Yep, there you go. So, if you want to, do you want to kind of move around and kind of show us what's going on today?
Sure. I mean, I believe that everyone's still getting set up here
Okay.
because the event that we're at, as I said, is called Cameras and Models. A lot of the models and photographers are still just showing up because the call time was just 2 p.m.
Got you.
Let's see if we've got anybody here already shooting. How do I turn the camera around on this? Is that possible?
Oh, that's a good question. I know it's
Let's
possible. I
see.
think
If
it's on
not,
more. I think it's
hello.
if you
I'm
hit
the
the
snake father.
camera
Yeah.
in the corner.
All right. So this is one of the models here. There's a couple models behind me and a photographer there as well. Then we'll turn
Okay.
around that way because
That's a
people are still
beautiful
just
scene.
showing up. We're just getting started. Yeah. So we're shooting here in Malibu right now, Malibu,
I was getting
California.
ready to say that's a beautiful house.
Yeah. So out here, it's definitely a multi-million-dollar property. There's a barn and like horse ranch, something or other down that way, and that's also on the
Okay.
property. Then we've got a pool. There's
Hey, Wiz.
a lot of things going on. Let's see, I haven't even been upstairs yet, but there's that upstairs area. Let's see.
And how
But yeah,
long would
definitely a
this?
beautiful property for our shoot today. Pardon?
How long would this shoot take? Like, how long does a normal shoot take? Is it an
So
all
we are
day
here
event?
from 2 until 9. Yes, all day, all day.
Pretty much all day.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and we're expecting to
Now,
have somewhere between. What? Yeah. Hold on, because I'm on a podcast right now. Sorry.
so
But
do the people who are showing
oh
up,
yeah,
do
there's
they
going to
know
be
that
about
there's snakes
30.
there?
Pardon?
The people that are showing up today, do they know that there are reptiles there, or they
Yes,
just
yes,
showing up?
they
Okay.
were notified.
Okay.
So this shoot, we're expecting approximately 30 models, and then we've got, I believe, 12 photographers as well.
Okay.
But let's see, now we're upstairs, and we've got a lot of.
Earth
Oh,
B
this is
says,
a nice area to look at here.
Claudius Earth B says that if you look at settings at the bottom, then the camera, you'll see the camera, and you can choose the back camera if you wanted to flip it around. So settings at the bottom.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. At the bottom, not all
Thank
that
you,
did was
Eric.
just have me turn it off. Camera. Okay.
And it should say back camera. Hey, Brittany.
Because every time I click on it, it's just telling me to turn the camera off. Let's see. Well,
Oh, okay.
also, we've got the luxury vehicles down there. We got an Aston Martin. We've got the Corvette. What is that? A C7? C8. So we got a C8 Corvette down there. We got an Aston Martin. We've got a couple other luxury vehicles that are pulling up as well. But like, this is the property that we're shooting on today. And then I'll come around this way. You can kind of see what the landscape is looking like.
That is beautiful. That
But
is really,
as I said,
really,
everyone's just
really,
kind of
really
showing
beautiful.
up and getting set up. We haven't gotten started just yet.
And it's an 8-hour event.
Yes, yeah. So this is basically a collaboration
So,
between photographers, Instagram models, some published models as well. So I mean, it's going to be a
okay.
good type of networking event. And then the theme for today primarily is Halloween. So a lot of people are going to be in costume for spooky season.
Got you. Now, is this what you do full time, or is this like something you still do part time?
I would love for this to be what I do full time, but I still need to do a few other things to make sure that all the snakes are fat and happy and fed. So
To show up for the photo shoot.
outside of outside of snake rentals for production, I also am an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, let me close that. So that is much better. Perfect. Okay. Probably in maybe 15, 20 minutes, there will be some more people shooting and ready to shoot with snakes.
So, who
But
is the
as I
cameraman
said, outside
today?
of this photo shoot. Pardon?
So, when you show up for these collaborations, do you guys all know who's coming? Like, do you know who the cameraman is? Do you know who home it is? Do you know
Yeah.
all of this stuff in advance?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
We
curious because
know
it's
ahead of
just
time who
so.
all is going to be there.
Okay.
We have a general idea of what we want to shoot. So a handful of the models reached out to me before I got here to find out what snakes I was bringing, so that way they could have their choices of which ones they want to shoot with to match their outfits or for the aesthetic or any type of other thing that they might have had on their mood board for the shoot.
Okay.
And it's just really just putting together some things to make movie magic, you know?
So, what is your favorite part about what you do? What is that you like the most about what you do?
My favorite part, I would say that no two shoots are ever the same. So even if
Okay.
someone wanted to, the example that I think of is like, you know, how everyone wants to have their Britney Spears moment. They want to have that moment where they have the big Burmese python over their shoulders, like she did in concert.
Yep.
So I would say maybe 1 out of every 5 of the clients or models that I work with, they want to do that shot, but it's never the same. There's always a different twist to it that they might have. They might have a different type of prop or a different aesthetic or a different angle. There's always something that kind of switches it up so that way they can make it unique to them.
Got
And
you.
working in this business, it's definitely been interesting to see how different people's minds work and how they interpret things to kind of make it unique. And I like that. I mean, I get to delve into their perspective and just kind of see what kind of creative juices get flowing when we get on set.
Got you. So I don't know. Elias asked, he said, how many clutches do you breed a year? Do you breed? Okay.
Yeah. So this past season, I had 2 clutches of reticulated pythons, and then I did not actually breed any ball pythons this year, nor did I breed any boas. I wanted to limit how many mouths I was going to have to feed because I ended up
Right.
producing almost 80 babies this year, which is more than a handful.
Retics alone have a
And
bunch of
like with
babies.
those, that was with, pardon?
I said retics alone have a bunch of babies.
Oh yeah,
So
hello.
that's a big challenge on its own, just breeding those because you
Yeah.
have to keep
So
all of those
once I
babies.
reached that point where I knew that I was going to have a lot of baby snakes, I ended up hiring an assistant. So I needed
Okay,
someone who was going to help me take care of the animals, you know, do animal husbandry, cleaning, feeding, things of that nature.
got it. And so, do you carry those employees all year round, or you just hire them as needed?
I'm probably going to keep my current assistant full time, like year round. But prior to having him, I was just kind of as needed. I would call someone and say, "Hey, you know, are you available to help clean today?" And then most of the people who come by, they love the snakes just as much as I do. So it's nice to be able to interact with them and just have a. How often do you get to say, "Okay, I got to spend the day with 5 different species of snakes, including an anaconda," and I was around over 100 snakes at that point, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, for some of us, very often. For others, it's definitely like, what in the world? Like, people can't even
Right,
imagine
right.
having that many animals in one place. So I had no idea that you breeded the retics. I knew that you were doing boas, but I had no idea that you breed the retics. So with that being said,
Yeah.
who's your customer? Like, do you sell them or you just breed them for you?
Well, genetic wise, I definitely breed for the morphs that I like, but
Mm-hmm.
I do end up obviously selling the babies. So this season, I sold most of both of the clutches to wholesalers, so that way they could be
Okay.
distributed to pet shops. But next
Okay.
season, I'm going to end up breeding some things that are a lot more high end. Like I'm going to be working with Golden Child, Piebald. I'm going to be working with some Super Dwarf genetics. So some things that are going to be more of the like upper echelon as far as like reticulated pythons.
Got you. Who's your favorite retic breeder? I probably can guess it.
My favorite retic breeder. Say that one more time.
Yep. Who is your favorite retic breeder?
I didn't hear you. Say that again.
Who's your favorite
My
retic
favorite
breeder?
retic breeder. Um, that's going to be Kevin McCurley over at Nerd.
I said I could guess it. I knew it was Kevin or Bob.
Pardon?
I figured it was Kevin or Bob.
It was either going to be Kevin or Bob.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You used to
I
beat
mean,
everybody on the
I
live
definitely
auctions.
I have a lot of snakes from Bob, but I like some of the genetics that Kevin is working with, and like some of the snakes that I've got my eye on right now are from Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Which
Even
snakes
though
are
I'm
those?
definitely not in the market to buy anything else right now.
Yeah. Which snake is that? What snakes that you have your eyes on?
Oh, let's see. There was multiple. There's a female golden child orange ghost
Okay.
stripe granite back, so it's het anthrax. It's basically jet black with like orange.
He'll come back in. I can't wait either, Angie.
It's just ridiculously expensive.
So when I visited, I was amazed, and I knew, because I followed Kevin McCurley for years, how many of the ball pythons and reticulated pythons that he made the world's first. I had
Yeah, world's
no
first. He's
idea.
got what, 22 different morphs that he's created, something
Yes,
like that.
yes, and he's so humble about it. So when I was up there and he started running them all off, I'm like, well, golly, we wouldn't have retics or ball pythons. Pretty much.
Right.
The golden child alone, like wow, like I had no clue. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting. Have you ever visited Nerd? Have you ever had an opportunity to visit Nerd, or have you ever like been to an Anaheim or something like that over the years where when Kevin was still coming?
I actually have not met Kevin in person, nor have I gone to his facility out there.
Okay,
But let's see, I'd say the big breeders that I've met out this way are like Jay Brewer over at Prehistoric Pets, because that's 45
hmm,
minutes down the road from me. I've
okay,
met Miguel with Always Evolving Pythons.
okay,
I'm trying to think who else that's like a bigger breeder. Brian Cusco, I've met him.
okay.
Yeah, mostly python breeders out this way though.
Got you, got you. And do you travel to any of the shows?
The furthest that I've traveled for the expos is probably Vegas or Arizona, like mostly the western region. I haven't flown out to the
Got
East
you.
Coast for any shows yet. I
Okay.
know that Tinley's next week, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. Tinley is next week. We're
Yeah. So I
excited.
mean, I'd love to go to Tinley at some point. It would definitely just have to work with my schedule, and then I'd be
Because
so
you're
tempted to
busy.
bring some things home that I have space for.
So it's so funny. So that's the easy part for me. I guess because I really don't like my animals shipped as much. So when I go, I like to go to see the people, like the actual people. I love seeing the
Hmm.
animals, like seeing them. But it's easy for me not to buy something at the show. Now the hard part is going to be this time. It's not buying a Mertens from
Mm.
Mike monitors because I've been having my eyes on them and they just keep popping up and I keep seeing it. I keep trying to unsee it and I keep seeing it. So that's going to be the hard part. It's not getting the Mertens
Okay.
because I'm telling you, I am a monitor girl. As much as I'm a retic girl, I'm a monitor girl. And I think it's for the same reasons. The monitors are so engaging like the retic is. Like they're smart as crap. They're
Yes.
like little dogs. They are so smart. They remember really, really well. They understand routine. They are just
Hmm.
so so easy to communicate with. So I think I love that part about them. So I don't want another Asian water monitor, but I think I might want like, a smaller version.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The
So,
I will have to admit something. I've I've had a couple of monitors in the past.
okay.
I had a Savannah monitor that absolutely hated me, and then I had a black dragon that was a
Mm,
complete demon and
mhm.
hated me. And I'm lucky to have all my fingers still. Lizards and I don't do very well apparently, and I've
So
been teased about that by some of the other
no,
breeders
it's
in
a
the area.
it's a reality. It's a reality of the fact that
When
it's
people say,
all
"Oh yeah,
about
he's
just
the
like the
snake father,"
retakes.
but don't give him a lizard.
But it's just like the retakes. It's all in who you get it from and the socializing that it had before you. So my monitor comes from Nerd.
Right.
And all I knew was once I got it, I just had to keep doing the stuff that Kevin did. That's all I knew. And as long as I did that, I was fine. I would not have bought a monitor unless I knew it was socialized. And even with a socialized monitor, when I say socialized, they still got to get used to the person, right? It's not like they don't have any
Exactly.
fears and things like that. They know when they're in a new environment. But I knew that I wasn't going to get bit. You know what I mean? I knew that it wasn't going to happen. And I
So
actually wanted the black
with
monitor
your
first.
Asian water, how
Say it again.
I was asking, how
Wait.
old is your Asian water?
Oh, he will be
You said 3?
3 in this November.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
he'll
so,
be
so he's
3
got some
this
size to him
November.
then.
Oh yeah, he's a big boy. I got him when he was only a few months old. So he was born in November. I got him in April. So he was about 6 months old when I got him. And I kept him in a
Mhm.
40-gallon breeder up into that summer. So like the summer before he became a year old, we built that big enclosure for him. I will say
Okay.
that I think that putting him in the big enclosure was, he could have waited, because I think that kind of like made
Okay.
him hide from other people, not me, but it made him hide from other people in the house. When I
So
put
he
him in
felt a
that
little
enclosure,
insecure.
yeah, a little insecure, unless it was me. But then when he got bigger, it was like, this is my house. I'm not afraid no more. I'll sit here. I'll
Right.
stand here. But I do think that that was one of the things that I probably should have waited. It's like waited till he got 2 before I put him in that bigger enclosure. But now he's fine. Like he's not bothered too much. We bring him in the house. Let's let him come in the house, and he's used to everybody now. But initially, I was going to get a
Right.
black dragon, and Kevin said to me, his exact words to me, "Girl, start off with something smaller. We're going to get you a Asian water monitor, not a black dragon, though." He was like, "It's a black dragon. It's going to get so much bigger, so much faster." And I'm so glad
Yeah.
that he stopped me. He was like, "Mm-mm, that's too much, too fast." Because when you look at a
Yeah.
black dragon 3 years old compared to my water monitor, my Asian water monitor 3 years old, that black dragon is way bigger. Way
Yeah.
bigger.
You're looking at a 5, 6 foot lizard already.
Yes. And I think they are a little bit more ornery. They got more like the Tegu personality a little bit. They're a little bit more ornery, where the Asian water monitor is like a puppy. Long as you love
Right.
me, I love you, we get along, feed me, and we all right. So yeah, that's surprising, because most people who deal with retics, I don't really hear that they don't like or won't deal with the lizards. But that experience, I would say to anybody, do not get a water monitor that's unsocialized, unless you
Yes.
one of them beasts of people. Like some people just like the challenge. I particularly don't want to get bit by a lizard. I'd rather get bit by a snake any
More
day.
power to them. I like having all my
Yeah.
fingers. I don't need that challenge.
So the only animal I have that's still to this day that's intimidating is my green tree python. And it's not that like I handle him because I have to, but it's because I have to, right? I have to take him out. I have to clean. I have to do
Yeah.
things like that. But he is intimidating to this point where I still get anxiety when I go in front of the enclosure and know I have to take him out. I've never been bit by him or anything, but I know he can and he will. Unlike the
Right.
retics, they ain't trying to do that to me, right? But that green tree python, he's intimidating. So the green tree python would be the lizard for me. I would not get
Okay.
another green tree python. I'm fine with the one I have. If something happened to that one, I don't think I would necessarily replace it. Whereas though I know
hmm
that if I lost a retake, I must replace that one I lost. I can't get any more, but I
Now, how
must
many
replace the one
animals?
that I lost. I have 8
Okay.
now. So
How
you can
many animals
remember
do you
when I
have in your
got the first
collection right
one. So, how many retakes or animals, period?
now? Animals total, yeah.
So the retex is 8. It's 2 berms. It's a corn snake, countless ball pythons now because I'm breeding them now. I actually went down the breeding trail of those. I have the 2 tegus, the Asian water monitor, the 2 red ear sliders, the green tree python, the boas. I got the 5 boa constrictors. I got my bloods this year from Ozzy, and I just always
Okay.
wanted bloods, so I got them. Um, this year. And that's the only reason why I got 2 more boas, because it would have just been 2 more retics, you know, if I had a
Yeah.
choice. And I think that's it. Like, for real, if I had it my way, if I had the space, I would have nothing but far as non-breeding animals, the retics. Because I have no intention on
Yeah.
breeding except for one pair of the retics. And I'm breeding them because those 2 animals are special. But even then, I would have to be
Mhm.
selective in who gets, you know, who I'm giving them to or selling them to or providing them to.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because that's the thing. I can't stand to see these animals mistreated. And not necessarily on
Yes.
purpose. Like some people don't realize what their real needs are. And then when it happens, like that little snake you talk about that's only 3 feet, in a year is 10, 11 feet. And, you know, people just shocked. It's a shock. No one thinks a snake is going to grow that fast, but they do.
Right.
They really do.
So what are the pair of retics that you're planning on breeding?
So it's going to be either the tiger pod het albino with the
Hmm.
motley I mean with the motley golden child son, or the motley mochino um, with the lavender sun tiger. So I'm not.
Okay.
I really want to do the motley and motley, but I understand that that's not a good. You know, the super motleys don't
Well,
necessarily.
if
They,
you
that could
have,
be a lethal.
it can be. So if you have a motley to
Yeah.
motley pairing, they need to have an additional gene in them as well. So
So
the
I
super
could
motley
do the
that I
motley
have that
mochino
seem
in
to
the.
be,
Okay.
pardon? What about Mochino?
So I could do the Motley Mochino with the Motley Golden Child Sunfire.
Yes. So with the additional
Okay,
gene, it's not lethal. So they don't have the digestive issues or anything like that. So
got
the
you.
super motleys that I have in my collection, I have an albino super motley. He's doing very well. He's 5 years old, eats well. He's perfect. Then I have 2 female platinum super motleys that are het for albino, and those are doing fine as well. But I've noticed that if it's just the super form, like 2 copies of that gene, where it's just a super motley with no other added genetics, they do tend to have digestive issues, and they don't usually live longer than a year.
Oh wow, so yeah, that's not good. So would
Yeah,
you think it's easier to breed retics or ball pythons?
I've had way more success with retics, but
Everybody say
the
that. Everybody say that. I think I got you back now. Yeah, I got you back. I don't know if I can hear you, but I can see you back. You can't hear me? I can see you. Hmm, let's see. Yeah, go out and come back in.
try that again.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Now we're good. All right. Yeah, we
Yep.
lost connection. But as I was saying, I've had a lot more success with reticulated pythons, but I've also
That's all right.
put more effort into the reticulated pythons because they have more of my interest.
Got you.
Um, but when it comes to the retics, I definitely vet my buyers a lot more than if it were a ball python. Because I mean, a ball that can go to anyone who wants a first time pet. A retic is definitely going to be need to go to somebody who's going to be more experienced with the animal and know how large they're going to get, and you know what it entails to have a snake of this nature.
Right. To feed, to handle, to clean. Like I think out of all of my animals, the retics are clean the most. Like they just
Yeah,
always,
and they like to finger
yeah.
paint.
I'm like, no, not again. I just cleaned. Yeah, yeah. So I think the retics
Yeah,
is a lot of
that's
work.
their way of saying that's their way of saying thank you. They're like, oh, a clean enclosure here. Let me just mess it up.
I need moisture. I need some humidity. Sort of pee right
Ridiculous.
now. Oh my God. All
But it's
right.
a
So I
labor of
know that.
love. It's a labor of love.
Yes. I mean, they're definitely my favorites. And if I had my dream to have a great big old house with nothing but retics, that would be fine. What would be your dream animal?
Say again, we cut out a bit.
Yep. What would be your dream animal?
My dream animal. Let's see. I have multiple. The first thing that comes to mind, I would absolutely love to have marmosets.
What is that?
So that's the little like pygmy monkey, little finger monkeys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
See,
I
our
would love
monkeys is where
to have some.
I don't mess with monkeys. That's, monkeys and
But
clowns
yeah,
are my
I would
cutoff.
definitely like that would be my dream pet to have a marmoset.
Yeah. See, mine is an alligator.
Okay.
Definitely an alligator. I mean, like one that I raise up, not one that you just
Hmm.
find swimming up the street, one that I raise up, but
So
that's my dream.
what's your reason that you would want to have an alligator?
So okay, so it goes back to the same thing with the retics. So for years, people had me terrified of retics. Like I used to watch them on
Hmm.
TV all the time, studying them and, watching people showing them in, a not so good light, right? So it's something about
Yeah.
those apex predators that you can, I don't like to use the word socialize, conditioned to be around humans, to be around you,
Right. So they
to
become more
engage
tolerant.
with you. Yes, more tolerant, right? And
Hmm.
an alligator is, to me, it's like the next to a shark, like the massive apex
Yeah.
predator that I think is misunderstood, like the retics. Like I think that if
Hmm.
you raise them up, socialize with them, then you can have a rewarding relationship. And we've seen it with so many people. Like you've seen so many people
Right.
do it, right? So I think it's just that. Like I have some animals that I just really, the retics being one of them. Every day that I engage with a retic, I try to debunk a myth that someone created, like about them, or something that, or prove
Mhm.
something that some people say that they couldn't do. Like one of my favorite videos that I ever posted is watching my Motley Golden Child son look for my son, find my son, go up the stairs and stop at his feet. And I would say
Wow.
this for the longest time, like she was fond of him. She know when he comes, she's different. Like she loves me, but she loves him. So one day, it's on video.
Right.
People in this chat have seen it. I let her come out on her own. I say, T'Challa, find Michael. I told Michael, and it's all, you can see all this happening in real time. Michael, go up the stairs. She comes from one room where her enclosure is. She come out the enclosure. She can smell him. She knows he's somewhere around. She
Yeah.
goes by me,
Mhm.
go all the way up our steps. And when she gets to my son's feet, she stops and look right up at him like, pick me up.
Wow.
It's all on video. I keep it. And so when people say that animals specifically, the scientists who say that they can't think, they're not intelligent, I'll have you
You
the
like, I
video
have
right
proof.
here. Let me tell you, she was
You're like,
very
it's not by chance.
methodical. And a matter of fact, this wasn't by accident. You can see her thinking, even when I say, Child, find Michael, Child, find Michael. And you can see her brain. And you know how them retics eyes are. Like
Hmm.
and the way my house is, she comes out of her enclosure. She got to pass me, go through another room, then cut around the corner, then go up the steps. And that's where she found Michael.
Wow.
So I like to debunk. So the alligator is one of the animals that I would like to be able to do that with. Now, why I'm not like that about the
Okay.
green tree python is because I'm not convinced that it has a working brain like that. I'm not convinced. I think it's just on, get her, get her, get her, get her.
Yeah. Yeah. She got a little taste for blood and said, "You're mine."
Yes, get her. Don't come here. I don't want to be messing with nobody. Leave me alone. But retakes. I also feel that same way about my turtles, though. My red ear sliders. That's what I love about them. They are very
Mhm.
intelligent. They are very intelligent. They know when you come in the room, they're beggars. They'll start to beg for their food and just things that if animals can't think, it would know. If it was just a beggar for the food, it would beg for every person who comes in there. It knows when it's a person who feeds it and a person who doesn't.
Right.
So that's the exciting parts for me. Like I think
Okay.
animals are like your fiance. Dogs are, that's what I love about dogs. I love the fact that dogs are so loyal. We put
Mhm.
a camera on a dog one day, and The dog literally would not eat or drink until we came home. And I never knew.
Oh,
Like some dogs will stay in the same place until you come back home.
wow.
I don't know. People ain't that loyal, right? So animals just have a sense of you loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you. And the
Mm-hmm.
apex predators, I think that's the only way that you get their respect is if that you can build that loyalty and trust.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it. That's why. That's
I like
why.
perspective on
Yes,
it.
that's
Okay.
why. But I also, I also think that if I'm gonna have an alligator, it's not gonna be in mediocre circumstances. Like I would have to be blessed with a big home, big yard. It has to be fenced in. Like it would have to be definitely come with the blessing of space, um, land. Give it the real environment that it needs. I think that's another thing. I think that if you don't give the animal what it needs, right, to thrive,
Mhm.
then you're not going to get that rewarding experience either. I think that's the difference between retics. I tell people all the time. I think that when people tell me they got a retic and a retic act a certain kind of way, I always ask them who was the breeder. Because
Yeah.
it makes a difference if it's a breeder who handles all of their hatchlings before they sell them, or the breeder who just kept them in
Mm-hmm.
that daggone bin until they sold it to you. Because there you got
Right.
a firecracker who's just food driven because it doesn't know any, it doesn't know any difference. So.
'Cause the only interaction that it's had is like if you see movement, oh look, I'm getting fed.
Yep. Yep. It does. It thinks that's all that's going to happen. So I always tell people you should always, that's a question you should ask the breeder. How often do you handle your hatchlings? Let me see you handle your hatchling. Let me see. Like I used to love Jim Jolly will always send me a video of him just sitting there,
Yes. So they're like rolling through his hands
yeah.
exactly.
Jim, Jim be like, here's your baby. And you just sitting there, you're like, yeah, I want that one. That one. Because you know what you get. And you see him take it out the
Right.
enclosure, all of that. So yeah,
Right.
and all of I got five retics from Jim. All of them are probably the better ones all the way around.
Okay.
I don't even have to use hooks for them. Like they are the ones that I just can open up the enclosure, let them think, and it's a done deal. I'm not eating.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's it. And I think it's just because of his handling of them, very, very young.
Right.
And I do believe that some of that is hereditary. Like with my pod, I think because he produced a bunch of calm pods, I have one of them. You know, that's what I'm trying to get through the chat. So I know that you have this shoot that you got to get to. So I want to just get through the chat to make sure there's no other questions for Claudius before I ask my final, because this is my favorite question. I love to ask this one. So before I ask you this question, when did you first realize that reptiles was for you? Like it was your thing. How old were you?
I was probably 3 or 4. I was young.
Perfect.
Like I was the kid that
Perfect.
was in the backyard digging in the dirt for bugs and catching
People.
lizards and all of that stuff, and I never outgrew it. Like I've always been drawn to reptiles.
Nah.
And growing up, I was reading animal books. I was watching Animal Planet. Steve Irwin was definitely one of my favorites. Jeff Corwin, Mark O'Shea, all of those guys that would go out and see these animals in the wild and interact with them. Like that was a dream to me. Like being able to see that, and that's something that I aspire to do as well myself. Like I would love to be able to have a platform where I'm able to share these animals to the masses.
Got you. Okay, so with that said, here's my final question. It's one of my favorite ones that I ask. What would you say to the 5-year-old Claudius today that would have changed your reptile experience sooner in your life? So you the 5-year-old and the adult Claudius is looking at the 5-year-old Claudius who felt all these things about animals. What would you say to yourself?
Mm, well, it's difficult to tell a 5-year-old to focus, but I would definitely tell my 5-year-old self to really focus more on specific things,
Mm-hmm.
just so that way I could hone in on what I'm really passionate about versus spreading myself out with a lot of different things. Because even today, here we are. Like if I was talking to my 5-year-old self, this is 26 years later, and I'm still spreading myself thin with different things. Like I'm working in entertainment. I do animal handling. I'm, I do a lot of different things. I just feel like I need to focus on one or two specific ones, or maybe one or two that go well together and blend well together, so that way I can continue to grow and develop into my career and into my lifestyle as best as possible and as productive as possible. Because I just feel like a lot of the things that I've done since my childhood, I could have delved deeper. I could have done more to really build upon things that I was interested in. So
Got you.
in a nutshell, I would tell my younger self to pursue my passions, not to give up on them, and really focus, like hone in and focus on specific things that I know are going to make me happy. Because even now, I mean, what I do now, it doesn't feel like work. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy interacting
Yep.
with the animals, and I enjoy introducing these animals to people who, in a normal day of life, they would never be able to see a snake, touch a snake, interact with them. And, it's a beautiful thing to see that reaction. I mean, how their
So
eyes
that's
light up, and a kid in a candy store.
I think that's it. Like, right, like even for us, even for you, like for me as an individual, like the fact that I can go and sit in my reptile room and have, one of the world's largest snakes, multiple,
Hmm.
in engage with them, like not like humans, but like engage with them. Like they're not just snakes. They're, like you said, they're part of the family. They all have personalities. I think that's the
It's definitely
magic.
a
I think
beautiful.
that's what it is. It's unreal
Like
some days. Like
it's
it's
soothing.
unreal.
It's soothing. Because the animals are definitely my outlet. So what I will do is if I'm having a bad
That's
day,
like
I'm
my,
literally just gonna sit with my reptiles.
yep, yep. That's my favorite place to be. Like literally,
Yeah.
it's my happy place. So I would
Hmm.
definitely say that doing what you do is a blessing, because I think that you give a lot of people that, and other people in the chat too, who actually, share their animals. I honestly just started doing that about 2 years ago. I had this biggest fear of sharing my animals because I didn't trust people. Like, what was you touching?
Mm.
Like, I was so obsessed with my animals. And then one day I just decided, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And that experience, like seeing people who were afraid not be afraid anymore, made me want to do it more. I still limit it, right? I
Right.
don't take them out a lot. But I remember it's a time that no one could touch my animals. Even to this day, I don't let people come to my house. Like there are
Hmm.
people that I love that you just can't come to my house with my animals, because I'm just so paranoid about them. You know what I mean? So I
Okay.
haven't really grown
Okay.
from that part yet. As far as them getting sick, especially when other people have animals. Everybody don't manage their animals the way that you do. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like, it's
Right.
just certain things that just
Cross
makes me
contamination
nervous
that could
about
be.
them.
Hmm. Like you
Exactly.
don't know somebody
But I
has
will tell
mites. You don't know
you,
if
it's
has
you just
RI
don't
or anything
know.
like that.
Yeah, you just don't know. And that's something that I always tell people: once it's in your collection or once you're there, it's nothing you can do. Like, it's nothing, and the person may not have done it intentionally. It's nothing you can do once it happens. So it's just definitely a concern. Pat, I saw your message. You did. So I will make sure Kurt will get with you. I think it was on a egg, but I'll definitely double check. Um, Angie just got. Oh, Angie loves retakes. I can't tell it. I can't tell it. Okay, but so that's another thing. I love the fact that there's so many people who was once afraid of retakes who are no longer afraid of retakes because of people like yourself, myself, those
Right.
who show them in positive light. You were one of the first
Hmm.
persons that I saw have them like out together. You know what I mean? Like, and for the longest time, I was told that you
Hmm.
couldn't do that. I noticed that my retics who were raised in the same areas of the house together, they literally sometimes go in and out each other enclosures, and I think it's
Yeah. Yeah.
hysterical. Like, would just literally go. climb over the other one, come back out.
Right.
I love it.
Like if you give them the opportunity to do things, you'll see how they would act naturally, you know?
Hey, Ray. Yeah, you'll see it. It's a natural thing, and they enjoy it. I mean, I don't think that is a situation where they want to live together, but they play with each other for sure. They
Right.
definitely
I
have
mean,
some type of
they're fine with each other
yes,
because it's not
yes,
like there seems to be this taboo where so many people are like, oh, well, you should never ever ever let them even see each other. You know, I'm like, well, in the wild they can still interact. You
that's
know,
true.
when they're hatchlings, they're all hatching together. You know, so what is this that they would never in life interact with another snake? That's a very lonely life to live. Like they may be
Exactly,
solitary creatures, but just
exactly,
because they're solitary creatures does not mean that they will never interact with another living thing.
absolutely. And I think they
Oh, I think I lost you. We're frozen here. Uh oh. Are you still there? I can't hear you. Oh boy. Hmm.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to our connection. But I wanted to make sure that I tell Claudius thank you for his time today. I know he has to get back to his photo shoot, so I'm not going to try to get him back on. Oh, there he goes. I think he's there. Hold on. He might be there, so I can tell him formally. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So I'm glad I
Hello.
can say thank you so much, Claudius, for today. I know that it was hectic
You're
trying to
very
even get
welcome.
this booked, and I know that you have a lot going on today, but I'm so glad to finally
Oh,
catch
you're
up with
fine.
you. And
Absolutely. Before we
you
log
gotta
off, I want to
post
give
on your
you
regular page
another.
some more.
Pardon?
You gotta post on your regular page some more. I don't get to see you no more.
I got to post on my regular page. What do you mean?
Yeah, like I don't see you don't post a lot anymore. I'm not in the group, so I don't see what's in the group, in the bro group.
You mean on Facebook or on
Yeah,
Instagram?
so I don't see
On
you on
Facebook or on
Instagram
Instagram?
either. Hold on. Let me make sure
Really?
we're following each other on
I mean,
Instagram.
I post very regularly on my Instagram.
Okay, so maybe we're not. I always see you on the face. I mean, I got you. I know I have your Facebook page. No, I am
Right.
following you on
Because
Instagram. I got
I
to make
haven't
sure.
been posting very much on Facebook. I do know that.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'll make sure that I'm following on Instagram because I do love to see your animals out.
Thank
Um,
you.
you do have some of the most awesome reticks. Um, You do. And I think that you're one of the very few
Very good over
people
here.
who love them the way that those animals need to be loved. So I appreciate that as well. But we're going to
I
let you go
definitely
live
do. I
the
definitely do.
glamorous life because it looks like you're having a great day there. It's a nice place to spend 8 hours.
Well, thank you.
Um, and I will be
Pardon?
looking.
You
Hopefully,
said
I
what about
see
the
you at
8 hours?
Tinley or somewhere. No, I said it looks like a nice place to spend 8 hours. But hopefully, we see you
Yeah,
soon
yeah, it's
at
not
one of the
bad.
East
It's not
Coast
bad.
shows. You got to make Tinley at least one
At some
time.
point, I will. At some
At
point,
some
I will.
time. But thank you all. Thank you, Claudius. Enjoy your day. Kill the photo shoot. Kill the production like you always do. If I don't talk to you again, congrats again on the
Thank you. Oh,
engagement
you'll be
and
talking to
enjoy
me
life.
again. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Enjoy the rest of your
All
day and
right.
enjoy San Diego.
I will. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye, everybody in the chat.